Let's begin your adventures in dreamland. Soft, surreal, and slightly cheeky sleep stories with awe and wonder. I'm Serene, your guide tonight. In a world of noise and endless options, you chose stillness with me. That means a lot. Dreamland floats across the world each night. Tell our community where we landed. And if you're vibing with Dreamland, a like and a subscribe tells the algorithm, hey, share the awe with others. And we know the world could use more wonder, more metaphysical, more of the unseen than the seen. We've forgotten we're spirit first, matter second. And if brushing your teeth didn't happen tonight, don't worry, you can still drift off with a clean conscience. Now, we return to what we are. Sleep isn't an escape. It's a temporary return, one we can't always access or remember. In the sleep state, the senses soften, the ego fades, and what remains is more of who you truly are. We forget our names, bodies, nationalities, possessions, and frailties. We unconsciously enjoy the great freedom that is native to the soul. Pure awareness, curiosity, and at the deepest fundamental level, in both physics and spirit, we are made of light, untouched by time, existing outside of it, free, a wave in the ocean of being. So let go. You are returning to your purest form. Freedom. Your story begins. The Car Dealership of Flying Cars is episode 31 and the 6th in our DreamScapes playlist, where we appreciate beautiful, surreal places. So here you are, standing in the middle of what might just be the strangest, and let's admit, most delightful car dealership you've ever seen. You blink once or twice and think, 1 minute, I was looking for a good night's sleep, and now I'm at a floating car dealership that smells like cinnamon and nostalgia. It's a beautiful day, and the sky above you is painted in soft pastel clouds. All around you, rows and rows of iconic cars hover gently off the ground, waiting for their turn to show off. Some are just a few inches in the air. Others float lazily a bit higher, shimmering in the dreamy light. You wander past a sleek Aston Martin that looks like it belongs in a spy movie, a classic Volkswagen bus giving off total flower power vibes, and even a futuristic concept car that sparkles with its own inner light. You won't be test driving those today, but they definitely add to the magic of the place. And then, stepping out from behind a neon sign that reads, Dreamland Motors, is your charmingly sleazy car salesman. He's got a grin that's just a bit too wide and a suit that's a bit too big. Welcome, welcome, he chuckles. You're about to take the most delightful test flights of your dreams. The The salesman steps toward you with the energy of someone who has definitely had 3 too many espressos and possibly taken a correspondence course in stage magic. His name tag reads simply, B.O.B. Flying Car Specialist with hand-drawn sparkles. He pops a piece of gum into his mouth with a loud snap, then tosses the wrapper into a floating trash orb that hovers a few feet away. 2 points, he says with a wink, though the orb didn't exactly look like it had a score system. Bob's eyes scan the hovering lot like a proud parent in a school play. We've got 7 beauties lined up for you today, he says, his voice dripping with a mixture of pride and mild mischief. Each one's got its own, shall we say, flavor. You're not just taking a ride, you're taking a mood swing on wheels. He guides you gently but firmly toward the first car, placing one hand on your back like a maitre d' at a 5-star dream restaurant. You're not sure if you've just been sold a dream or hypnotized by one, but either way, you're kind of into it. The car hovering before you is unmistakably old, but not tired. It's the kind of antique that has earned its place in history and then decided to hover just above it for dramatic flair. The Model T floats about a foot off the ground, rocking slightly like a rowboat tied to a wooden dock in 1907. It's simple, open air, and painted in a black, so classic, it might as well be dipped in sepia tone. Its lamps, round and glassy-eyed, give the front an expression of polite confusion, like it's surprised it's still running after all these years. The wheels are thin, spindly, and spin slowly, even while the car floats in place. Bob leans in with a stage whisper. Now this little sweetheart started it all. No touch screens, no voice commands, just gears, guts, and glory. You ease into the seat, and it welcomes you with a nostalgic bounce. The leather is worn but warm, like an old jacket that's seen things. There's a faint scent of tobacco and motor oil baked into the air, softened by something sweeter. Maybe vanilla from the old candy tins someone once stashed under the seat. The steering wheel is absurdly large and thin, like something a cartoon mouse might use to drive a steamboat. You rest your hands on it anyway, because somehow this feels right. Bob nods approvingly from outside the car. Don't let her simplicity fool you. The Model T is a slow jam. She's here to show you the skies didn't always move fast, but they always moved with purpose. Then, with a gentle clank, a sigh from the engine, and a sound suspiciously like an old phonograph warming up, the car begins to rise. And just like that, you're flying. The Model T lifts into the sky with the grace of a drowsy elevator. Slow, a little wobbly, but charming in its confidence. There's no rush here. The wind is gentle, like someone softly blowing across the top of a glass bottle. It tousles your hair as the car drifts upward, its shadow shrinking below like a memory in reverse. And then, You see your town, but not the way it is now. The roads below are wide and dusty, lined with gas lamps and general stores with striped awnings. Streetcars roll along rails, their bells faint and musical in the distance. People stroll instead of hustle, women in long skirts, men tipping their hats, children chasing a hoop with a stick like it's the most exciting toy on earth. You drift over the post office, which still exists in your time, though now it's a frozen yogurt place. A farmer's cart bumps along a dirt road near the river, and the local theater is showing the great train, Robbery. Everything below is familiar, but only just. It's like flying through a dream you didn't know you had. You smile, and that's when the clutch catches. The car jerks slightly to the left, and the engine gives a stuttering cough that sounds like a typewriter sneezing. The steering wheel tugs gently in your hands, like a toddler insisting on attention. You instinctively press your foot down on a metal pedal. You're not even sure which one, and the car settles itself with a grumble and a shudder. Then, suddenly, it purrs. You swear the car is proud of you. The engine settles into a soothing rhythm. Put, put, hum, put. The wind tugs at the edges of your clothes, and the leather seat warms beneath you. It's not just a car anymore. It's a sky-bound memory machine. Bob's voice crackles in from a floating gramophone that somehow appeared beside you mid-air. Nice clutch save. You and the Tin Lizzie are already speaking the same language. You peer over the edge and catch a glimpse of Bob below, in a floating recliner, holding a lemonade and wearing aviator goggles. He waves a tiny American flag and shouts, "Say hi to 1908 for me." The Model T begins to tilt gently upward, giving you one last sweeping view of chimney smoke, cobblestone streets, and a brass band marching toward the town square. You take a deep breath. The air smells like chimney soot and apple pie, and then let the car take you higher. For a moment, everything is slow and soft and golden. You're not in a car. You're in a feeling, a way of life. And just when the breeze starts to whisper that it's time to come back down, the Model T begins its gentle descent. The Model T lands with a soft ka-thunk, like a teacup settling onto its saucer. The engine lets out a satisfied sigh, or maybe that was you. Either way, the moment you step out, the air around you seems a little more golden than before. Bob is already waiting by the next car, somehow sipping a root beer float now. You could swear he was just in a recliner in the sky a second ago, but dream logic doesn't ask for permission. He waves you over with 2 fingers and says, "Let's pick up the pace a bit, shall we? I've got just the thing." You walk with him across the floating lot, past rows of chrome, curves, and flying fins. The ground beneath your feet is cloud soft and slightly warm, like walking across a sunbeam that forgot to fade. As you approach the next vehicle, you get that unmistakable shiver of anticipation. This one's different. This one hums even while it rests. The next vehicle is not floating, it's hovering, poised, regal, unbothered. Its body gleams in a deep, impossibly smooth red, the kind of red that makes people fall in love with things they can't afford. Even the air around it seems to respect its presence, stepping back to admire. The Ferrari 250 GTO levitates a few inches off the dream lot, like a panther mid-prowl, waiting to pounce on the sky. Bob pulls off his sunglasses. When did he put those on? And gestures dramatically. Hand-assembled in Modena, cost more than a yacht. Drives like a whispered secret in a tuxedo. You circle it slowly. The curves are pure sculpture. No spoilers, no gimmicks, just raw aerodynamic confidence. You run your hand along the front fender and swear the metal purrs under your fingertips. The gull wing door rises smoothly, and you slip inside. The seat hugs you like it knows things, like it's about to show you things. The interior is all leather and brushed metal, but not flashy, elegant, purposeful. It smells faintly of clean oil, Italian leather, and something floral. Maybe jasmine drifting in through a memory. The wheel is small, wooden, and feather light in your hands. You tap one of the dials, and it gives a polite click, like a vintage camera shutter. Somewhere, an engine clears its throat. Ahem. And then, the Ferrari lifts off. Not like the Model T. No clanking, no bouncing. This is precision. It ascends in one smooth line, like a violin string being pulled upward into the stars. As the car glides above the skyline, your town reappears, but it's changed again. It's the early 1960s now, and the world below is straight out of an Italian film reel. The streets have widened. The signage is all bold fonts and pastel backdrops. A record shop blinks gently at the corner of Main, and neon lights buzz faintly, even in daylight. There's a convertible cruising below with a man in a tan suit and a woman in a beehive hairdo, both holding ice cream cones, both laughing like they invented the concept. You soar above diners with chrome stools, above teenagers in Letterman jackets hanging out by jukebox-lit storefronts. Your school, your actual school, is there too, but newer, sharper, somehow cooler. The rooftop glimmers as if it's proud of its future. The Ferrari darts forward, and the engine lets out a rich, velvety growl, like a lion that just remembered its royalty. You feel it in your spine. The car banks left, smoothly tracing a curve over the town square. It leans into the turn without asking for permission, and the world tilts just enough to make your stomach do a tiny backflip, the good kind. But just then, a light on the dash flickers. Everything aligns. The purr of the engine, the rhythm of the road below, the colors of memory and dream all blurring together. This isn't a flight, it's a performance, and you're the star dancer in a ballet made of horsepower and soft wind. From somewhere nearby, Bob's voice floats in, impossibly clear and just slightly smug. You're welcome. The Ferrari descends, the way a sigh leaves the lips, slow, controlled, and just a little dramatic. It touches down with a whisper of a thrum, and the engine hums one last elegant note before fading into stillness. You step out changed, a little more stylish, a little more smug, like someone who now owns at least 3 tailored suits and maybe a Vespa. Even the air feels silkier. Bob is already waiting a few paces away, leaning casually against the next car as if he's been there the whole time, though you're pretty sure you're not the only one who thinks that. Just saw him floating upside down behind a billboard 5 seconds ago. He raises one eyebrow as you approach. Not bad for your second flight. I'd say you handled her better than most hedge fund billionaires do. He flicks a speck of imaginary dust off his lapel and gestures behind him with a flourish. Now, ready for something with a little bite? The next car practically growls from its hover position, its silhouette coiled and low, like it's barely holding itself back. The air around it smells faintly of burnt rubber and challenge. The car before you is not gentle. It doesn't float, it pulses, like a heart with a V8 engine. The Shelby Cobra hovers low, like it's trying to pretend it's still part of the road. Its body is slick and squat, with thick racing stripes down, the hood like war paint. The chrome glints sharply, not in a pretty way, but in a don't touch me unless you're serious kind of way. Bob stands beside it, grinning like a man who just got away with something. Meet the Cobra. It's got the charm of a back alley pool shark and the temper of a caffeinated badger. But oh, she flies. You walk around it slowly. The tires look oversized for its body, which only makes it look tougher, like it grew up getting into fights with prettier cars. There's no roof, of course. The sky is your roof now, and probably your problem. You slide into the bucket seat, which is stiff in the way that makes you sit up straighter. The steering wheel is smaller and thicker, wrapped in something that smells like a mix of gasoline and baseball mitt. Every dial on the dash looks like it was borrowed from a fighter plane. You brush your fingers across one, and it clicks like a trigger. Then it starts. A low, throaty brrrr, like thunder purring under your feet. The car doesn't so much lift off as it lunges upward. You grab the wheel and hold on. This one is not here to lull you. It's here to wake you up, just before bed. You're above your town again, But this time, it's louder, alive, colorful in a way that dares you not to look. Everything below is tinted with that unmistakable 1960s swagger. All vinyl signs and flashing marquees, motorcycles cruising in packs, diners blaring rock and roll through open windows. The local radio tower is broadcasting something twangy and rebellious. Your school is still there, but someone painted a peace sign on the gym wall, and there's a food truck parked out front selling milkshakes for 35 cents. You fly lower this time. The Cobra prefers it that way. She likes to feel the pulse of the place. The wind is louder here, like it's singing back up to the engine's growl. You dip toward the river, and the car kicks slightly in midair, not out of distress but excitement. You can feel the torque in your ribs. Suddenly, the throttle sticks. The engine roars and the nose tips up a little too far. You fumble instinctively and slap the gear shift downward. It clicks, the engine chokes, then clears its throat like a blues singer in a dive bar. The car grins. Yes, the car. It feels like it grins. You course correct and drop into a barrel roll style lean over the baseball field where you once failed PE class. You give it a tiny nod on the way past. It can't hurt you now. Then comes the best part. You let go, not of the wheel, but of the worry. You let the Cobra fly herself, and she does. Fast, bold, unapologetic. You soar through the golden haze of a 1960s sunset, neon flickering below like electric fireflies. And as the flight begins to slow, you hear Bob's voice through a small speaker hidden in the seat. You've got a heavy foot and a good instinct. You sure you've never raced in a past life? The car lands hard, not dangerously, just confidently, like it knows it did a good job. Bob is already at the next ride, sipping a cherry cola with a twirly straw. This one won't growl. It'll glide. The Tesla doesn't hum. It waits. It hovers about a foot off the ground, motionless in that oddly intimidating way some things are when they don't need to show off. Its body is silver gray with a faint pearlescent glow, like moonlight on brushed steel. No grill, no vents, just intention. Bob stands beside it with one eyebrow raised and both hands in his pockets. Behold, the introvert of the car world, all brain, no ego, doesn't shout, doesn't puff its chest. It just wins quietly. You reach for the door, but it opens itself, sliding outward with a soft sigh, like it's been expecting you. Inside, everything is minimal, not in a cold way, but in a monastery built by designers way. There are no knobs, no buttons, just a smooth dashboard and a screen the size of a dinner tray. You sit. The seat conforms. The car seals around you like it's tucking you in. It smells faintly of something impossibly clean. Ozone and eucalyptus, with maybe a hint of new ideas? Is that a smell now? Bob's voice comes in over the internal speaker. No engine, no gears, no drama. She doesn't take off. She just decides to stop being here and starts being there. The car lifts. No bounce, no vibration, just a gentle levitation, as if gravity itself has stepped aside out of respect. You're above your town again, but this time, it's not the town you know. It's the version of it that's coming. Solar panels shimmer on every roof. Vertical gardens climb the sides of once empty buildings. Public parks stretch across rooftops, and wind turbines spin gracefully in the distance, like ballet dancers warming up. The roads are nearly empty, because most things now hover, hum, or slide quietly from place to place. Drones zip by below you, carrying groceries and tiny dogs with goggles. A tram glides silently across a bridge made of light. You coast above it all in complete silence, the wind dampened by some invisible tech magic. The world looks clean, soft, thoughtful. You lean your head back and close your eyes just for a second. The seat adjusts to support your neck automatically. Then, a soft bloop from the screen. The route display has frozen. You tap it once. Nothing. Twice. Still nothing. You sigh and perform the universal reboot, pressing and holding the screen's corner while muttering, "Please don't do this now," under your breath. The screen blinks, then resets. A cheerful chime plays. Tesla voice, "Welcome, pilot. We missed you." The car zips ahead with a tiny wink of motion, so smooth you almost question whether you moved at all, but the scenery confirms it. You're now cruising over the river, where a floating meditation center has replaced the old car wash. People in robes are sipping tea beside a lily pond on the roof. This isn't just a future, it's a gentle one. And the car, it feels like it's thinking along with you. Bob's voice returns, unusually soft. Quiet, isn't it? It's okay. Some dreams are meant to be silent. The Tesla slows. The interior lights dim. You drift downward like a feather caught in a kind wind. The landing is so subtle, you're not sure you've landed at all. But Bob is already standing next to the next car, now holding a waffle cone with 2 scoops and inexplicably wearing flip-flops. He waves casually. Okay, time for something a little cuter. Your dream driveway awaits. You hear it before you see it. A soft put-put-put that sounds like a popcorn machine telling a bedtime story. And then there it is, the classic Volkswagen Beetle, floating gently just above the ground, swaying side to side like it's dancing to its own internal soundtrack. It's painted the color of a lemon drop, sunny yellow with white-walled tires and little chrome bumpers that look like they're trying to smile. Bob pats the roof fondly. This one, she's pure heart, zero pretension, built to make people wave at you for no reason. He leans in closer and whispers like it's a scandal. Also has the turning radius of a cinnamon bun, just saying. You open the door, it creaks with charm, and slide into the cabin. It's cozy. Everything is slightly rounded, like it was designed by someone who hated corners. The seat is squishy, in a comforting couch from your grandma's basement kind of way. The air inside smells like sunshine, crayons, and maybe a distant memory of jelly sandals. You glance around at the dashboard. Big, friendly knobs, a speedometer that somehow feels slow, and a small flower vase clipped next to the steering wheel. There's a daisy in it. You didn't put it there. You exhale, and the beetle begins to rise. Not quickly, not smoothly, but with enthusiasm. It bounces slightly as it lifts, like it's excited. You can feel the engine trying its best. That little put, 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 now sounding more like putta-putta-wee. Your town is back, but it's mellow now. Golden light filters over everything like someone smeared honey across the sun. Below you, bell-bottoms and bicycles rule the roads. A roller rink has replaced the pharmacy. Kids are playing foursquare in the street while someone nearby strums an acoustic guitar without asking for attention. Your childhood park is there, complete with that metal slide that burned everyone's legs in summer, but now it's surrounded by kites shaped like peace signs and helium balloons tied to everything that can be tied to. As the beetle floats forward, it gently bobs up and down, not malfunctioning, just vibing. You press the gas, and it politely considers your request before giving you a cheerful little boost. It's not fast, but it's determined. You giggle, and then something rattles beneath your seat. A little metallic tink, tink, tink. You tap the floorboard with your heel and reach down. The glove box pops open on its own, and out rolls a cassette tape labeled Mix Road Trip 1978. As if on cue, a tiny speaker croaks to life and plays a faint, warbly version of Dancing in the Moonlight. Bob's voice cuts in right between verses. Don't worry, that rattle's part of the experience. It's called personality. You float past the bowling alley, where teenagers are carving their initials into picnic tables and debating the best sci-fi movie. It's Star Wars, but they haven't all agreed yet. A shaggy dog barks up at you and chases your shadow. The beetle dips and rolls gently, side to side, like a boat drifting across a lake made of time. It doesn't soar. It poodles. But somehow, you wouldn't want it any other way. You descend softly onto the lot, bouncing once, then settling like a satisfied beach ball. Bob meets you beside the car, now holding a Polaroid camera. He snaps your picture with a flash and shakes the photo. You're gonna want to remember that one. Nothing flies like the beetle. He tosses the photo into a floating envelope that seals itself and drifts upward into the dream sky. Then he nods at the next car. All right, enough cute. Time to get loud. Now it's time for something with shoulders. You hear it long before you see it. A low rumble like distant thunder, not angry, just awake, and then it appears, towering, wide, confident, floating just above the ground, like a cliff that decided it had somewhere to be. The Ford Raptor is enormous, painted in matte desert tan, with LED eyes that somehow look calm, not aggressive, like a grizzly bear that knows it could destroy you, but really just wants snacks. Bob waves an arm toward it, now wearing a trucker hat and a belt buckle the size of a frisbee. Meet Bertha. She doesn't fly. She lumbers through the sky like a mountain on vacation. You step up, literally. The side step deploys with a mechanical shh and open the door. It's heavy, like it's built to survive all known forms of nonsense. Inside, it smells like cedar, leather, and cowboy confidence. The seats are massive, soft yet firm, with cup holders the size of planners. There's a cooler built into the center console, currently stocked with hot cocoa. You climb in and feel the suspension gently adjust under your weight, not struggling, just accommodating. The dashboard lights up with a warm blue glow. There's a button labeled Trail Mode and another labeled Let's Go. You push the second one. Obviously, the Raptor lifts, slowly, deliberately. You expect a roar, but what you get is a deep, steady hum, like a bass line only your bones can hear. As the town appears below, it's not the city center this time. It's the outskirts, the forgotten fields, the roads where the pavement gives up, the old barns you once passed, on your way to somewhere more important. But from up here, they look like art. You glide over winding dirt roads, now turned golden by twilight. Cornfields stretch for miles, dotted with water towers and faded roadside signs promising world's best pie. A single train tracks through the landscape below, cutting a slow line through the earth, and then bump. The truck kicks slightly sideways, like it just caught an invisible pothole in the sky. The steering wheel jerks, and a warning pops up on the screen. Wind shear detected, yeehaw mode engaged. You blink. You didn't press anything. The Raptor lurches playfully to the side and begins to drift. You're flying sideways, and weirdly loving it. Bob's voice comes in from the truck's sound system, now tuned to what sounds like a classic country station from an alternate universe. She gets a little frisky when the altitude changes, Just let her dance it out. You grip the wheel, not out of fear, but partnership. You steer her gently back into place. The truck rumbles in approval, then resumes its majestic cruise. Below you, the local lake is still and silver. You spot a pickup truck parked near the edge, not flying, just parked, with two people sitting in the bed watching stars arrive early. The Raptor slows, dips slightly, then hovers over a stretch of back road that looks like it hasn't seen traffic since 1997. And then it lands, not with a thump, with a hug. The truck settles like a houseplant returning to its favorite windowsill. Bob is already waiting by the last car, now inexplicably holding a pair of mirrored sunglasses and eating a moon pie. "Hope you stretched," he says. "This next one, she's not here for serenity. She's here for drama." She waits for you in profile, angles sharper than your last heartbreak, red hotter than your first crush. The Lamborghini Countach is parked like she just walked off the set of a 1980s music video and hasn't stopped smoldering since. All edges, all drama, floating 6 inches above the dream lot like she's not entirely convinced gravity deserves her attention. The scissor door is already open. Of course it is. Bob steps aside with a low whistle, now inexplicably wearing a satin blazer and gold chain over a black turtleneck. This one's not for the faint of heart. She doesn't fly. She arrives. You duck inside, barely. The cabin is tight, angular, and smells like cologne, worn only by men named Stefano. The leather is stitched in bold diagonals. The seat cradles you like an expensive lie. The windshield feels more like a periscope than a window. And the mirrors are somewhere. You'll figure that out later. The engine is already humming, low and moody, like it's been warming up while staring at itself in the mirror. You grip the thick, sculpted steering wheel. The car responds by vibrating slightly, like a diva purring in approval. You tap the gear shift, and she lifts off with a lurch. Not smooth, not graceful, but bold, unapologetically extra. Oh, it's the 1980s now. The town below has gone full vaporwave. Neon signs buzz like dragonflies, casting blue and magenta shadows across glass buildings with triangular roofs. Everything gleams. There's fog on the streets, not from weather, but style. Arcades glow on every corner. Mall parking lots are full of boxy hatchbacks and teens with Walkmans. Someone is breakdancing next to a payphone. Your childhood movie theater is back, but now it's showing Back to the Future on all 6 screens. You blast over the rooftops like a synth guitar solo, the Countach banking hard left, then right, without asking your permission. The wind feels electric, not in temperature, in attitude. Then, the cockpit lights flicker. A bright red warning appears. Coolant vibes low. Before you can panic, Bob's voice erupts from the dashboard, slightly distorted and way too close to the mic. Ignore that. She's just being dramatic. You roll your eyes, but affectionately, and thump the console. The warning disappears with a sulk. Then the Countach roars, and you're off again. She surges forward like she's chasing a spotlight, dipping between floating billboards and zooming over highways that flicker into light only as you approach them. It's not just flying, it's performing. You pass a drive-in movie theater playing Ferris Bueller to an audience of lawn chairs and floating convertibles. Someone claps as you streak by. You wave instinctively. You're not even sure who waved first, them or the car. Finally, the Countach slows, but not because she's tired, because the moment has peaked. She lands like a model's heel hitting the final stomp on the runway, hard, proud, perfect. Bob walks over, slow clapping. Bravissimo, she likes you. He straightens his collar, then hands you a single neon pink rose, already slightly wilted. She only does that for stars. The neon fades. The floating cars dissolve, one by one, into soft light, as if they were never machines, just ideas you once had while watching the world from a half-awake window seat. You blink, and you're back in the lot, or at least the memory of it. The pastel clouds have shifted to deep indigo. The ground beneath you no longer glows. It rests, and Bob is standing beside you, now holding a mug of cocoa with 2 marshmallows shaped like tiny steering wheels. He's no longer wearing the satin blazer. Now it's a cardigan, worn at the elbows, soft. He doesn't say much this time, just gives you a nod, one of those quiet, meaningful nods that only happens in dreams, the kind that somehow means, you did good, kid. You're ready for whatever's next. I'll see you again. Behind you, the wind picks up just slightly, but it doesn't feel like weather. It feels like a blanket being pulled up over your shoulder. You look down at your feet, expecting to see the floating lot again, but all you see now is your own room, your bed, your breathing, the quiet rhythm of night, and somewhere deep in the back of your mind, you hear the distant putt of an old Model T, the proud growl of a cobra, the soft hum of a whispering Tesla, all of them still floating, just waiting for when you're ready to dream again. Bob's voice fades in one last time, barely a whisper. Sleep tight, sweetheart. Dreamland's always open, and then nothing. Just the night, the stars, and you, coming to rest, right where you belong. Sweet dreams. Good night.